So the comfort test, the patience test, the third is the allegiance test. Will I let it go? So God promised to bless all nations through Isaac, through this child of Abraham and Sarah. And have you ever noticed all the genealogies in the Old Testament and then in the first of the New Testament talking about Jesus' lineage? That's why. See, Isaac was in the lineage of Jesus, and God was promising the lineage all down through thousands of years through whom the Messiah would come, and that's why they're there. Well, one day, Abraham's there with his son, who's now about 10 years old. Isaac's the love of his life, and God gives him the mother of all tests. Genesis 22, take your son, Abraham, your only son, yes, Isaac, whom you love so much, and go to the land of Moriah. Go and sacrifice him. Go and sacrifice him as a burnt offering on one of the mountains which I will show you. Now, at first glance, this is hard to understand, isn't it? I mean, what is God? I mean, a cruel monster? He makes Abraham wait and wait and wait. He finally gives him the love of his life, falls in love with the son, and then he asks him to sacrifice him? I mean, is God evil? No, God is so good, we can only understand his goodness by analogy. Now think about that. We sing his love is so extravagant, only heaven knows. We can't comprehend his great love, so he gives us analogies. So picture it yourself. This is not about Abraham and Isaac. This is about God the Father, who loves you so much, he wouldn't hold back his own son, Jesus. This is a prophetic foretelling of what God will do 2,000 years later in Jesus' sacrifice. Now, here's why we see that. The weird thing is Abraham doesn't even flinch. I mean, it must have been confusing because God had outlawed human sacrifice. In Leviticus 18, I do not permit any of your children to be offered as a sacrifice. And as we're going to see, Abraham actually believed that God would raise Isaac from the dead if he had him go through with this. Why? Well, because Abraham's faith had grown so strong, little step by little step. He knew God. He knew the character of God. He knew God as a friend, and he knew God had said it's going to be through Isaac, so it's going to be through Isaac. And if he has me sacrifice him, he'll raise him from the dead. You got to understand this test of Abraham was a type. It was a foreshadowing, a prophetic foreshadowing of God's plan of how he was going to bless all the nations through Jesus.